Subscribers, and people who accidentally clicked on this video, and welcome to another episode of Summer in a Pandemic, a student magazine show where this week we have a theme. I swear, it's probably the arts or something.
OMG, we're still doing this show.
Heidi, why are you talking like that?
Cause up next we have What's the Haps with Anaya.
Wow, 80s theme this time. She really does have a knack for changing things up. Over to you, Anaya.
OMG. Hey everybody, today we've got a super awesome show for you guys called What's the Haps. I know we're still in a pandemic and stuff, but we can totally still have the raddest time. So you just slip on your leg warmers and we'll get on with the show. For example, there's a whole lot of stuff happening online. We all know there's a lot of concerts going on, and there are festivals and conventions all happening online. But we want to be with people in person. So I have a super awesome idea that'll totally solve this. So what if we did a social distancing picnic? It sounds totally rad, I know. I'll tell you all about it.
This is something you can do with the gals, the bros, or even your bull. Everyone should pack their own food and blanket, meet up at a park, set up 6 feet away from each other, and enjoy some yummy food and nice convo. But to be safe, have a mask with you just in case.
And just to clarify, we're not telling you to stop social distancing. Don't be a bonehead. At least you can go outside and see people face to face, but with proper precautions and safe distancing. And of course, you can do this over FaceTime or Zoom to be extra super safe. Another really good activity you can do with your friends is having a water balloon or a water gun fight. This is a really good option because you don't have to get too close with your friends. The only problem is it's kind of risky, so you have to be super careful and make sure you wear your mask the whole time.
Even though it might be a total drag, just talk. Invite a friend socially distance on your lawn or your porch and have a fun time talking. Of course you can do this over FaceTime, but this way you can get out and gain that whole physical aspect or whatever.
Just a reminder, don't be an airhead. Socially distance by staying 6 feet apart and always wear your mask. Well, I hope this was super helpful. Who am I kidding? It totally was. Bye guys!
So the arts, huh?
Well, I guess I did say that.
Yep. So what's next?
Well, next we have episode 2 in Chelsea and Adrian's vocal training series.
Yes, I love their series. Last episode was so helpful, though I still need a lot of help.
You and me both. Over to you, Chelsea and Adrian.
Thanks, Heidi and Sedacia. Hi, and welcome back to the second part of vocal training with Adrian and Chelsea.
On the last show, we focused on breathing exercise as one of the most important steps you need to remember when learning singing. So make sure you go check that out before you watch this second part. As for today, we will be focusing on finding your vocal range.
It's very important to know your vocal range because when you sing outside your comfort range, it's going to sound very, very pitchy. Find your vocal range by testing yourself for tone deafness. To determine whether you're tone deaf or not, you can take a tone deafness test on tonedeaftest.com. You will differentiate melodies and they will give you a score at the end.
After you know you are tone deaf or not, now you can identify your vocal range by singing along with an instrument. Play down the scale and sing back the sound you hear until you reach your lowest singable note. This will determine how high or how low you can go before your voice either cracks or strains.
So this is the lowest I can go.
When you go up the scale, Remember that your head voice is also part of your vocal range, so feel free to switch to your head voice. Don't try to belt up all the way to the highest note.
If you do not have any instruments, that's okay. You can download a piano app on any of your devices and find your vocal range. And that's all for part 2. 4, 2. See you on the next show.
Now that we've had a segment on singing, next we have
Painting, bee farming, competitive pogo stick jumping.
dancing. Heidi, you knew this.
I can still dream. Well, next we have a performance from Northwood High School's Asian American Pop Dance Club, which Sedisha and I will be taking part of.
The club is doing a cover of La Kongai by Xing. I don't know how to pronounce this.
Neither do I. Just keep going and I'll put it on screen.
Alright, following choreography by Pit, found on the Huan Tu Ha YouTube channel.
Là con gái phải xinh. Là con gái phải xinh. All your bodies calling me. Party on the beach. All your bodies calling me. Party on the beach. Tựa như ánh sáng bừng trong đêm dài tối tăm, là đôi chân ấy quyến rũ nhất nơi đây. Làm ai bối rối từ khi em vừa ghé qua, lại gần hơn nữa em biết anh đang nghĩ suy về em. Your heart, your love, yêu mãi mãi. Người đừng nói dối anh đã yêu ai. Your heart, your love, yêu mãi lại. Người còn hoài chờ mong mãi, ngàn ánh mắt cứ dõi theo anh được từng bước đêm mê. Thân em ngọc ngà quyến rũ ai ngây dại. Người hãy nói với anh đêm nay thật lộng lẫy kiêu sa. Nobody's beautiful like me. Là con gái phải xinh. See your body move. Là con gái phải xinh. It's me and you. Là con gái phải xinh. Mắt cứ dõi theo anh được từng bước đêm mê. Thân em ngọc ngà quyến rũ ai ngây dại. Người hãy nói với anh đêm nay thật lộng lẫy kiêu sa. Nobody's beautiful like me. Ngàn ánh mắt cứ dõi theo anh được từng bước đêm mê. Thân em ngọc ngà quyến rũ ai ngây dại. Người hãy nói với anh đêm nay thật lộng lẫy kiêu sa. Nobody's beautiful like me. Là con gái phải xinh. Là con gái phải xinh. Là con gái phải xinh. All your bodies calling me. Party on the beach. Là con gái phải xinh. Get it right with your mind. Would you take the lead? What the time it is?
Heidi's gone already? Well, you all know what that means. It's time for another episode of Movie, TV, Recs, and Reviews. Over to you, Heidi.
Thanks, Sedisha. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of, yes, you guessed it, Movie, TV, Recs, and Reviews, where today we will be talking about the movie To All the Boys I Loved Before, P.S. I Love You, and why it makes absolutely no sense. I'm aware that a lot of people enjoy this series, and don't get me wrong, I'm guilty of staying up multiple nights until 1 a.m. just to watch this series, but that's precisely why I know that this movie has so many plot holes that it should practically collapse on itself. Now let's start with our biggest plot hole, John Ambrose. I don't know if you noticed, but he was in the first movie, here and here. Now this is him in the second movie. Notice any difference? Now, I understand that actor changing is common in movie and TV. However, complete character and plot changing in the middle of the series, not so much.
In the first movie, here he is at the end with flowers at her doorstep with her letter in hand about to confess his love. Then, in the second movie, it completely resets and he sends her a letter instead of showing up at her doorstep.
Now you could debate that the guy on her doorstep wasn't John Ambrose, but we all know that he was. Laura Jean sent out 5 letters. 3 of the boys she sent letters to were prominent characters in the first film, and the boy from camp's letter got returned. I guess I wasn't clear. That's 4 boys. The last boy literally couldn't have been anyone else. My next problem is, in the first movie, John Ambrose was labeled as just someone from Model UN, but in the second movie, he's this large and important part of her past. Now, of course, the second movie could just be unpacking more about him as a part of her past.
But the reason it is not was this scene right here. Here, Lara Jean accounts all the boys she wrote letters to Peter. She addresses Josh and Lucas by name as she knows Peter is familiar with them.
However, the other 2 she just addresses as boy from camp and boy from Model UN, implying that he does not know either of them. Then, in the second movie, they were friends, had history, were connected. Does this make any sense? No. Then, in that storyline, there are even more problems, including Trevor and Peter's connection to Lara Jean's past. I mean, who even is Trevor? He just shows up in the second movie as a character with a strong connection to our 2 main leads' past, and we never even heard of him. And Peter and Lara Jean didn't even become close until the first movie, so why were they now in some whole friend group type sort of thing beforehand? I have plenty of other problems with this movie too. Like, when Lara Jean gets a letter from John Ambrose and she coincidentally runs into him days after, and the plotline with Jen? Enough said. Well, that was all for my review, or more critique. Well, now I have a list of teen movies for you, except this time I'm doing 5 good movies by cinema standards and 5 not so great movies, but more just kind of fun to watch and enjoy. Clueless, The Breakfast Club, The Edge of 17, 10 Things I Hate About You, Easy A. Now for the fun to watch movies. Bring it on! She's All That, Another Cinderella Story, The First Time, To All the Boys I've Loved Before, the first one. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. Over to you, Miss Garmize.
Thanks, Heidi. Hi, everyone. My name is Sherry Garmize, and I'm the Senior Vice President for the Association of Public and Land-Grant Universities. And I'm here with you today to talk about how you might pull together a list of colleges for your consideration. So here's the first tip. Look and see if there's someone in your high school who's able to help you. Maybe it's your counselor. Maybe it's a college and career coordinator. But there's probably someone who's either organizing career fairs or knows about local career fairs and can help advise you on your journey. Tip number 2, look in your backyard. Most people live in regions where there are a number of colleges and universities nearby. Talk to your friends, your neighbor, your family. You may find or know somebody who's been to one of those colleges, or at least know someone who does, and that will give you a chance to talk to them, learn about the options. You have more assets than you realize. Tip number 3, there are actually a number of websites that allow you to search for colleges by your interest. 2 examples are one by the College Board and the second by the Department of Education College Scorecard. You can use these websites to look for colleges by location, by area of study, by major, by cost, and other success metrics. Here's tip number 4. If you happen to know what you want to study, or what you want to do after college, then don't just choose a college by major, choose the location as well. You want a college that's in a location where the industry you're interested is well represented, so you can find jobs and internships during college and after you graduate. And here's the last tip. Generally, public colleges and universities are the most affordable option. So when you're pulling together your list, make sure to know what kind of college it is. Is it public, private, or nonprofit? I hope you find these tips helpful. Back to you, Heidi and Sedacia.
Wow, I'm loving these college-related segments. They're so helpful. Now I have a list of possible colleges I can apply to. How about you, Sedacia? 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 Oh, that's right. Sedacia must be getting her pizza dough ready right now, because next we have a cooking segment with Sedacia where she'll be teaching us how to make pizza from scratch. Over to you, Sedacia.
Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to make pizza from scratch. First we have to make the dough. Don't forget to preheat your oven to 400 degrees while making the dough. There are 2 ways to make pizza dough, with yeast and without yeast. Today we're going to cover the dough that requires no yeast. It has ingredients you can find in your home. After all your ingredients are combined, mix your dough with a rubber spatula. If you don't have one, just use your hand. As you're mixing, add a few more splashes of water and olive oil until your dough is to the consistency you want it to be, which would be bouncy. So if you poke it, make sure it bounces back. After kneading your dough for 3 to 5 minutes, it's time to roll it out. Before you roll it, Flour a flat surface in a rolling pin. Once the surface and the pin are floured, roll your dough into the shape of a circle, although it may not always turn out a circle. After rolling the pizza dough, it's time for the toppings. You can use any pizza sauce, mozzarella cheese, or dairy-free cheese if you're lactose intolerant, and any other topping you want. I'm using jalapenos and mushrooms. Once you have your toppings placed on your pizza, put it in the oven for 16 minutes and take it out when there's 6 minutes left on the timer. And brush the crust with olive oil and then put it back in for the remaining time. Once the timer goes off, take your pizza out of the oven, cut it, serve it, and enjoy.
We done yet?
Almost. We have one more segment for today.
Which is?
Something about toys.
What about toys?
I don't know. All Dylan said was he was doing this segment about toys.
Dylan, you say?
I did.
Okay, cool.
Okay, well, now over to Dylan with his toy segment. Though I don't get why he's doing a toy segment in an art-themed episode.
Toys are art. But Dylan, I hear you scream. Oh, by the way, hi. I'm Dylan. But anyways, you're going screaming, you're going, oh, Dylan. Toys aren't art. Toys are stupid little plastic things made for kids so that kids can have a fun time and use their imagination. Well, guess what? Adults can use their imagination too. And we can use our imaginations to appreciate good art, which toys are. Toys are art. Here, I'll show you. The art of toys, much like any other art form, is found in all manner of toys, regardless of the era, style, articulation, whatever. So, let's take a look at some kinds of toys. The most obvious sign of toys being art are art toys. These essentially are miniature sculptures made by artists with the explicit intent and purpose of being displayed as art. Art toys use bold color palettes and intense shapes to really stand out as little sculptures on your shelf. Next, we have the most known collective of toys, which are action figures. Because action figures are so popular as a style of toy, there's an incredible amount of range of quality and artistic merit among action figures. The art of the action figure really shines in the way that the figure's sculpt plays into the figure's articulation, with the best ones having an incredible range of posability alongside a really detailed, interesting-looking sculpt. Finally, we have PVC figures, which almost can't even be considered toys. They're essentially are figures of known characters that are stuck in one single pose. The art of the PVC figure comes in how well that one single pose and the sculpt that accompanies it are able to convey the personality and emotion of that specific character, while also being an interesting visual display from every angle. In the end, it's pretty clear that I value toys at a very high level, and because of that, it's also clear that I have a bias when I talk about toys. But if you're like me and you love toys, or you love anything else for that matter, I think it's really important that we're able to look at and find the beauty and the art in those things that we love. Back to you, Heidi and Sedacia.
I think that was our best one yet.
I still don't know what you're talking about.
Whatever, I'll just enjoy my cat on my own.
That's all we have for today, folks. See you next week on
Summer in a Pandemic, a student magazine show. Okay, that is ready.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.